Hi guys, in this video I will show you how to create fabric or velvet and any other type of cloths shader in Cinema4d and Vray. It's a little tricky, but with some simple tips and tricks we can create a very stunning material for your visualization. So let's begin. First of all, like any other material, I want to create a Vray bridge, Vray advanced material. Name it velvet. And let's start playing with the settings. Usually for obtain a cloth in the quickest way without sorry, more an heavy calculation time by the machine, usually go to diffuse layer, texture, and apply first of all a Fresnel on the diffuse layer. This map can control some different gradients or color related with the position of the object with the environment and the camera. Okay, click on this rectangle here to enter the settings of the shader, and let's assume we want to create a simple orangish velvet shader, so we can try to create what we desire for and see what happens after apply this to my cloth and see what happens in my render. Okay, as you can see, my basic velvet shader is good, and I think this can be for a basic or very soft cloth, but it's work very good, and the render time is very fast. Let's try some little tricks with it. So first of all, I want to show you how to control this Fresnel by adding some points here. If you move back this pin and duplicate sorry okay, with Control and left click you can duplicate this layer, and let's see what happens if I change a little bit my Fresnel gradient. Okay, as you can see in this second version of my Fresnel layer, I have added 1 point of color, and this is create more complex shader, and is similar to silk, as you can see. Maybe we can try to add some other point to create a very shiny cloth material. So let's try it. Go to my shader and move back this, duplicate this darkest color, and maybe we can try to fix some little tricks. Maybe we can add one more pin here Let's see what happened with my render now. Good, as you can see in the render preview, I have created a very shiny silky material. I like it, but as you can see, with very few settings you can create a lot of variation of shader, of cloth shader for Vray. These shaders are very simple to create. Maybe you can try to increase the quality of this material by adding some maps to it. So first of all, I wanna add to this a fabric shader, a fabric texture to replicate a more precise look of cloth. So I want to close this, and maybe we can try to recreate from scratch another fabric 01, name it, another material for my clothes. I want to clear this and create a layer. In this layer I want to add an image, so I'm going to my fabric folder and add my texture to it. I'm doing this, I want to add a layer of Fresnel to recreate my simple material. Maybe we can try to different approach to it. I want to access to my Fresnel like the previous example, create my basic shader, make it more contrasted like this. Maybe we can play with some color to create a very cool effects. Pick the same here. Maybe it's a little bit shiny, so reduce the intensity of the saturation, and maybe we can little tricks to create a more smooth transition from these colors. Yeah, good. So take this and pick the same color here. Good. And apply this basic material to my cloth here. I have note that my cloths not intersect with the ground, so I'm going to lower the heights of my clothes. That's good. Maybe we can try to render it. After doing this, we can try to activate my texture and put it in multiply mode to see what it's look like in my render. I think this texture is too heavy, but it's too big. But let's try to see what happens in my render. Yeah, too big. Okay, this texture is very big. Maybe we can fix it now properly with a cubic projection. Maybe we can try it. So stop this render. Maybe we can try to no. cubic doesn't work, so I want to UV mapping. Maybe let's leave it in projection UV mapping and set the tiles to 5 by 5. Maybe it can works better. Oh, I have a little bit of problem here on the border of my geometry. That's because I have a subdivision surface applied to it, and the UV mapping doesn't react correctly to it. So I'm gonna to go to my subdivision surface and subdivide UVs, make it to edge, and we fix it, as you can see here in the preview. So after doing this, I wanna add a little bit of shine to my texture and fix the colors of this texture seamless here. So I'm gonna to add my folder. Maybe we can try it. Sorry, not folder, but effect. Maybe use saturation. No. Maybe a filter. Filter, yes. Delete this texture, go to my filter and replace. Paste it here. Yes. Reduce the overall saturation. Maybe we can play a little bit with contrast. Yeah, I like this. Maybe we can try with 50% of contrast and see what happens in my render after. Replace it to multiply, reduce a little bit our opacity to 80%, go to Fresnel, and maybe we can try to recreate a silk material with some texturing on it, apply on it. So go here, sorry, apply this layer, like this, duplicate this, set the gradient in the proper position. Yeah, good. And let's see what happens. Good. As you can see in my preview, I have this very shiny effect compared with this more smooth tissue, standard tissues. I have created a more shiny effect for silk or something else. It's more high-end tissue, this one. Maybe for a luxury interior or something else is work very good. Here we go. I very like this effect. Maybe we can try to reduce a little bit our texture size by increasing the multiplier of texture like I do before to reduce this texture, and maybe we can play a little bit with opacity, but for me this this effect is good for this tutorial, so maybe we can try to simulate another material. So let's play with this to create another material like noisy velvet. Create this, go to my Fresnel, remove some points to create a more simple materials. And I want to add a mask to this Fresnel. So turn off my texture overlay and go to my shader, noise, and let's try to play with these settings. So click on it, go to my maybe wavy turbulences, maybe what can work for me. Maybe we can try to global scale of 500. Yeah, it's good for me. And go to this and make it layer mask. So doing this, create a copy of this Fresnel and make it more darker to see the differences between these two shader. As you can see here, we can try to remove this air. Let's see what happens in my render now. So apply this noisy velvet shader and see what happens in my render. Okay, this is a little bit poor. I think I want to increase the differences from these two Fresnel option by this increasing the contrast of my maps. So I'm going to my shader. Maybe we can try to increase a little bit the contrast on my map. As you can see here. Yeah, good. And maybe we can reduce a little bit my global scale to see a better results. Maybe a little bit again, so maybe we can try 150. Yeah, good. So I'm gonna reduce a little bit differences from my layers. Maybe we can try to start playing with this. Yeah, good. I think this is what I want. By removing a layer on the lowest Fresnel option, I create what I want to see in my layer. Maybe we can try with a little bit of an experiment by inverting these two layers. Yeah, that's good. Let's see what happened now. Okay, I don't want this effect is too flat, so I'm going to stop it, and maybe we can try to invert again these layers to see what happens. Doesn't change, so the problem is another. Stop it, invert again the Fresnel option. Maybe we can try to duplicate this, yeah, to create a little bit of contrast on it, and go to my Fresnel option and do the same here. Yeah, good. Let's see what happens. Good. This is the effect what I want. Create a little bit of contrast with two nodes by adding nodes on my Fresnel layer, so I can control a little bit better the geometry and the contrast of this shader on my clothes here. As you can see, maybe I can delete this and compare these two renders. A ridiculous amount of differences. This is very, very realistic. That is a little bit of this is poor. You can add some realism by adding some fabric texture like this to this FX or anything you want. So for this tutorial is all. See you in next video, and follow me on YouTube and Instagram. Thank you so much. Bye.